Welcome to Nationwide, coming to you live on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. And now the details. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has directed all information dissemination platforms under his ministry, as well as the National Orientation Agency, to embark on an intensive awareness and sensitization campaign in a bid to arm Nigerians with the necessary information that will protect them to stay healthy. The minister stated this in Abuja. Anthony Forson has the details.
With coronavirus now in Nigeria following the first confirmed case, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture has come up with a sensitization and enlightenment plan, as explained by the Minister, Lai Mohammed.
The NTA, FRCN, NAN, VON, and the National Orientation Agency have been directed to intensify their ongoing sensitization and enlightenment campaigns to arm Nigerians with the necessary information to stay well. And the National Orientation Agency, NOA, with its wide reach, office in all the 774 local governments, is pushing the various sensitization enlightenment programs to all the nooks and crannies of the country, translating the campaign to the major indigenous languages to expand their reach.
While calling on Nigerians not to panic, he assured that the federal government is well equipped to handle the situation, but was however quick to caution that mischief makers will take advantage of the situation.
We know that at times like this, purveyors of fake news and disinformation usually ramp up their acts. We are therefore urging Nigerians not to fall for the antics of purveyors of fake news and disinformation. Fortunately, Facebook is working with us in this regard. They have asked Nigerians to report any false or misleading report on Facebook and Instagram pages so they can immediately bring them down.
The patient, who is an Italian, is said to be in a stable condition and being treated at the Infectious Disease Hospital, Yaba, Lagos. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has called for compulsory screening of all passengers coming into Nigeria from China and other countries affected by the coronavirus. This followed a point of order by the Deputy Leader of the Senate, Senator Ajayi Borofis, who drew the attention of the Senate to what he described as non-screening of passengers in some airports in Nigeria.
When I arrived yesterday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe airport, there was no screening. All we were given is a sheet of paper to indicate whether we were sick, whether we have been to one country or the other, and how we will be contacted.
Meanwhile, the issue of alleged non-screening of air passengers arriving Nigerian airports, as raised by the Senate, as well as other factors, were discussed in our studios with medical experts on NTA Panorama this Friday afternoon. Here is the excerpt.
Fast forward to the Senate complaint, or the complaint from the Senate saying there was no screening whatsoever. Now, the process of screening, in particular at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, consists of a temperature detection process whereby you walk through thermal scanners. So the distinguished senator was actually screened on arrival. he walked through the thermal scanners, and that paper, that sheet of paper, is part of the screening process. It's a health screening form to give us some information about your biodata, your travel history, the fact that you may be, whether you've had symptoms or not, or contact with someone who has symptoms. So guess what? At a time like this, that form becomes extremely relevant, because for people who have been in contact with the index case, we're going to go into the archives to retrieve the forms from that airline. We're going to go into the manifest and determine who sat closest to him and use the form to trace them. So for both the purposes of detection, surveillance, and contact tracing, the form is part of the screening process.
If I may interject here,
Yes.
it's possible that some people could fill in fake or false information about their health. How do we handle this?
Okay, so for us, in terms of our surveillance, actually our plan is not to profile all passengers or stigmatize anyone. Our concern is about the surveillance in terms of the symptoms and the signs that they present with. And just like the Director of Port Health said, we have the form where we have their details, and for persons of interest, that's for individuals that have been to countries where there is an ongoing transmission, we have a way of monitoring them daily. We follow up with them, we call them daily to know whether they have signs and symptoms that we're looking for, how they're doing, and we have a call log where we use that for a period of 14 days.
Nigerians have also been advised to observe strict hygiene, regular hand washing, and desist from peddling rumors, as the Federal Ministry of Health is working with relevant agencies to contain the spread of the virus. Citizens are also advised to monitor authentic news feeds, including the Nigerian Television Authority. Nationwide will continue after this time out. Don't go away.
Kefi Old Boys Association, KOBA, cordially invites the general public to the sessions, training you to be the best you want to be.
With a defeat at Burnley, leaving them just 2 points above relegation, will Bournemouth revive their hopes of an EPL stay, or will the downward spiral continue? Find out this weekend as Bournemouth hosts Chelsea at the Vitality Stadium and the Premier League Live, showing on NTA Network. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Coca-Cola and Axis Bank.
You're welcome back, and you're watching Nationwide. We're going to go over to Port Harcourt, where Osinachi Abraham is standing by to give us a situation report. Osinachi, if you can hear me loud and clear, since the reported case of the first case of coronavirus in Lagos, what has been the reaction of people in Port Harcourt?
Yeah, good afternoon and welcome to Port Harcourt. Here in Port Harcourt, everything is just normal. The State Ministry of Health, in the state, the Director of Planning and Research just briefed the media on measures put in place to make sure that such does not happen in Port Harcourt. Before now, Port Harcourt has been a very proactive state in terms of containing issues like that. When Ebola happened, it was well managed. Lassa fever was also well managed, and now coronavirus, the director that just briefed us assured us that there will be no case of corona in Rivers State, and lots of measures have been put in place at the airports and other public places, and there is high level of sensitization to ensure that the public get the right information on what to do, and what not to do. And concerning the atmosphere, everywhere is cool. People are going about their normal business. There is no panic in Rivers State, as the state has assured us that that the state is collaborating with the Federal Ministry of Health, and everything is just fine. People are not panicked. There is no panic anywhere in Rivers State. People are happy with the information being released, because there's an emergency operation center that has been opened. Phone numbers have been sent to the public. People can call if they suspect any issue. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Osinachi. I would like you to tell us about the preparedness of relevant agencies in this regard.
Yes, it's actually all hand on deck business. Here we are at University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, and I'm with Professor Prince-Will Stanley, who will speak further on what is going on and the level of preparation. Professor Stanley.
Thank you very much. For us, like you have said, we have a high state of alertness and preparedness for this particular incident. We are already aware that Nigeria has recorded the first case of COVID-19 infection, and that the patient is being taken care of. And before this time, we have stepped up our preparedness by making the rudimentary arrangements to ensure early detection and possible intervention. But we have a setback. Though we have a good number of globally tested and qualified personnel and specialists, we don't have any of the drugs or to intervene urgently, neither the testing kits and other useful consumables, including the kits that you use to keep the patients and also the specialists and others working with them. Beyond this, we are fully prepared by reason of our interaction with the training groups, but we need to get more equipped for this. Just about 3 weeks ago, we have received about 3 visits from the Federal Ministry of Health, who had come in connection with the coronavirus issue, to the extent that we have shown them a place that has been earmarked for the Infectious Diseases Center in the hospital. And that discussion has remained rudimentary, because beyond that, nothing has happened. Just about 4 hours ago, we received a contingent from Shell, who had come in the spirit of their corporate social responsibility, asking of what they may do to assist. And we also took them to the bare site, and they surveyed. But for the acquisition of competencies that are required, we are fully prepared. We need some further stepping up by the reason of preparation in form of the equipment and also the drugs and testing kits. And these are the basic things we need so that we can up our game. Our antennas are quite high, and the state of alertness is quite enviable.
I believe that they may also want to know level of sensitization, other people. Okay.
Yes, like you earlier said, all the persons within Rivers State and beyond are all informed, and there is no panic, because the information have gone in such a manner that persons have taken due precautions. There is no panic at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We just spoke with Professor Prince-Will Stanley.
Thank you very much, Osinachi, for that update. Thank you so much. The Federal Ministry of Health has confirmed the first case of coronavirus, like we earlier told you, in Nigeria. The victim is an Italian who works in Nigeria and returned from Milan, Italy to Lagos on Tuesday. Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, who announced this at a news conference in Abuja, describes the condition of the patient who is being managed at the Infectious Disease Hospital in Yaba, Lagos, as clinically stable with no serious symptoms. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah completes the report.
Since the first outbreak of coronavirus, COVID-19, was reported in China and its subsequent spread to other countries, which is attendant effects, Nigeria has been on its toes to prevent the spread of the virus to its shores. That effort has now become a combination of prevention, response, and containment, following the importation of the virus into the country.
The gentleman who came here apparently may have gotten infected at a point, but walked through the scene, the screening, with no symptoms. And by the time he got to his house, I think a day or two after, he started to feel unwell. And wisely enough, he went to a hospital, and there the doctors examined him, and I believe they found that malaria was negative, and they knew the travel history, and immediately referred him to for a test in Lagos at the Luth testing center, and there it was discovered that he was positive for coronavirus and immediately put under isolation. The identity of patients is not generally released except with their own permission.
The health minister reassured Nigerians of the country's prepared capacity to deal with the virus.
The government of Nigeria, through the Federal Ministry of Health, has been strengthening measures to ensure an outbreak in Nigeria is controlled and contained quickly. And we will use all measures and resources made available by the government to respond to this case.
This confirmed case makes Nigeria the 45th country that has reported COVID-19 outbreak. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
After Rabi Abdallah's report, we'll now join Elizabeth Lamido live in Kano for a situation report from that zone. Elizabeth, what is the situation in Kano after the breaking news of the first case of coronavirus in Lagos?
Thank you, Lydia. The situation in Kano is actually calm as people go about their daily routines. And even at the international airport, it's just for the international travelers that just came in that are being checked thoroughly. Checking that usually takes 15 minutes rather, now takes 30 to 40 minutes. And aside from that, they also take other measures like scanning for their temperatures and checking if they are coughing and other.
We apologize for the technical challenges there. We hope to reconnect with her when the situation is right. Moving on, the National Association of Nigerian Theatre Arts Practitioners, NANTAP, has commended the efforts of the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, NACA, Otumba Segun Ronshewe, and Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, for the security arrangement at the Arts and Craft Village, as well as other tourism centers in the country. This was when a delegation of NANTAP visited the National Council for Arts and Culture, NACA, on possible collaboration. Director General of NACA, Otumba Segun Ronshewe, assured the theatre arts practitioners that the government will continue to support the creative industry in Nigeria for the attainment of its full potentials. It will be recalled that the permanent site of the Arts and Crafts Village was in the news following the case of some intruders using the facility for nefarious activities. Now to security issues. The Nigerian Army has put measures in place to strengthen her security apparatus in its war against insurgency in the country. This came to the fore during the military enrollment sensitization campaign in Ebonyi State. Ijeoma Peter Nwante reports.
The sensitization tour, which is at the instance of the Chief of Army Staff, is part of the ongoing sensitization of citizens in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It is aimed at updating citizens on the current approach to the recruitment and training of the persons recruited into the Nigerian Army as envisioned by the Chief of Army Staff. The team leader, Brigadier General Emmanuel Henry Appan, advised the youths in the state to endeavor to enlist in the forthcoming recruitment exercise, which is open for WAEC holders and youths between ages 18 and 26 who are physically and mentally fit. Representative of the state government, Mark Onu, commended the Chief of Army Staff on his effort towards combating insurgency in the country.
I am sure that our youth will make up their mind in number to join the army to defend our fatherland.
On arrival, the team visited Governor David Umai to solicit for government support during the exercise. In Abakaliki, Ijoma Pitawante, NTA News.
Outside of its role of protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria, the Eastern Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy is partnering the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, to hold a public speaking competition among corps members serving within the catchment area of the command. Paul Abel reports that the event, which is the maiden edition, has as its theme NYSC's development, my perspective and contribution.
Public speaking competition involving 18 presentations from 3 zones, namely Calabar, Uyo and Port Harcourt of the Eastern Naval Command, borders on the NYSC scheme, corps members' perspective, contribution and national development,
and help foster better interaction in the future between the Navy and civilians.
The desire to orientate corps members in the right direction towards national development is the reason behind the event.
The idea started going on in my head that we need to do something so that within the service year we can improve the confidence of corps, and
security is very, very required, very necessary for us to talk about national development.
A kind of illuminating our corps members, not just the corps members, the general public.
At the end of the keenly contested competition, Priscilla Oku emerged as the overall winner with a reward of 150,000 naira. The second position, Amina Yusuf, got 100,000 naira. The third place person, Teginting Nsong, got 75,000 naira, while others were given consolation prizes, plaque, and medals for participating to build confidence.
In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And in Abuja, President Muhammadu Buhari has restated the commitment of the federal government towards deepening existing relations between Nigeria and Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. The president gave the assurance while exchanging views with the outgoing Sahrawi ambassador to Nigeria, Melaine Sadiq Bashir. State House correspondent and the Musambo has details.
Ambassador Sadiq Bashir of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic was in the State House on a farewell visit after completing his tour of duty in Nigeria spanning 3¼ years. President Buhari congratulated the outgoing envoy on his accomplishments in the country. He said the relationship between Nigeria and the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic was strengthened during his stay in Nigeria and promised to ensure that it remained so. He therefore wished the envoy well in his future endeavors. Ambassador Sadiq Bashir had told President Buhari that he had a very good experience serving in Nigeria, during which the relations between the two countries improved greatly. The outgoing envoy expressed the belief that Nigeria and his country would continue to collaborate more effectively for enhanced mutual benefits. Ambassador Sadiq Bashir assumed duty in Nigeria on the 8th of November 2016. Records show that Nigeria recognized Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic on November 11, 1984, and formal diplomatic relations were established on the same day. The Sahrawi embassy was opened in Abuja in late 2000. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Just as Lagos residents face the reality that their city is housing the first victim of the novel coronavirus in Nigeria, they are also grappling with unprecedented traffic congestion on most roads and highways across the state. The situation has worsened with the increasing spate of accidents involving petroleum tankers and container trucks, further aggravating an already peculiar situation. What is the state government doing to ease the current hardship motorists and commuters have to contend with on a daily basis? Dotun Ogunyemi is at Ojota to report live on the situation. Dotun?
Hello, Lydia. Well, the situation, like you rightly mentioned, has been quite peculiar for the past 2 days. We know that on Wednesday there was a situation involving a petroleum tanker just after Otedola Bridge along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. That actually caused some really severe traffic, and well, while the situation might have improved moving away from Wednesday, there was actually another situation earlier today along Eti-Osa, that's the Lagos Eti-Osa Expressway, where there was another tanker accident earlier today. But while all that is going on, definitely the Lagos state government is looking at ways in ensuring that they contain all of these situations just to make life more convenient for the people. And to speak more about that, I have with me the Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos, Dr. Frederick Oladende. Sir, really, just talk to us about some of these incidences that we've seen and what you're doing to really alleviate the situation.
Just a point of correction, this is not Oladende. My name is Benga Omotosho. I'm the Commissioner for Information. The incident of Tuesday night that you refer to, I can say that it's man-made. Man-made is in the sense that people, we know that their vehicles are not good and they put them on the road. It was a case of fire, and it took a long time for the fire to be put out because it was really a combustible material that was being carried by that truck. And what we are trying to do in Lagos now is to ensure that all these trucks, they obey the law. Some of these trucks are 40 years old. They are not supposed to be on the roads anymore, but people still use them to carry goods. And if trucks are not good and then they are being put on our roads like this, they are bound to fall sometimes. And when they fall like that, it causes discomfort for other road users. And we are trying to stop this because there is a law that says that all these trucks, there is a limit to what they can carry. They carry what they are not supposed to carry now. So the way bridges are now going to be used effectively, some of them that are bad are going to be reformed. Others are going to be put in use that are good, they are going to be used. And then the vehicle inspection services will be up and doing more now to ensure that these bad vehicles don't get on our roads. What we are saying is that we are going to ensure that the laws are obeyed, and once the laws are obeyed, that human factor will be out of it. Right. And once the human factor is out of it, right, we are going to have some peace.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Omotosho. That was the Commissioner for Information in Lagos State, and that's actually the situation for now. And Lagos residents would be looking at even having better days with all of these plans on ground.
Thanks, Dotun. We really appreciate that situation report. The peace and progress of Itobe community in Ofu local government area of Kogi State will not be compromised by acts of mischief and by persons who deliberately intend to create confusion. President Kogi Council of Chiefs Atai Gala gave the warning following reports of disturbances over the appointment of a woman as traditional ruler in the community. Correspondent Usman Gambo has details.
The newly appointed Onu Itobe Ajia Ramotu Ino Ocheja Ibrahim assured the people of her commitment towards the progress and development of Itobe. Ajia Ino appealed to government and other well-to-do individuals to invest in Itobe.
My role in this community now is to pack them together to have peace in the town.
Some of the inhabitants of Itobe community commended Atai Igala for appointing Ajia Ramotu Ino Ocheja Ibrahim, the Onu of Itobe, describing her as a philanthropist who has sacrificed a lot, not only for Itobe, but for Igala land. From Itobe in Ofu local government area, Kogi State, Osman Gambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with barrister Mohammed Sambo Aliu on the conferment of Magajin Rafin Gwandu by Gwandu Emirate Council, urging him to use the opportunity to serve his community and the country. In a statement by the special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President joins family, friends, and the Emirate Council in celebrating the historic and joyous event, which will hold on Saturday, February the 29th, 2020. President Buhari praised the Almighty God to grant him good health, strength, and more wisdom to serve humanity. Kaduna State Government is ready to work with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development by building a strong network with the ministry to alleviate the various humanitarian challenges faced in the state. This was emphasized when the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, paid a solidarity visit to the ministry, where he also added that Kaduna State is benefiting immensely from the various social investment programs of the federal government, and with more support from the ministry, Kaduna State will continue to tackle its humanitarian crisis.
These humanitarian challenges continue to evolve. You solve one and another one emerges tomorrow, and that's why a ministry like this must be policy oriented, must have sound people that will be looking at issues and thinking through solutions to them on a continuing basis.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, stated that mitigating humanitarian crisis requires collective efforts from critical key players for effective preparedness and response to achieve that set goal for the country.
We're inviting all state emergency management agencies to come to Abuja so that we discuss. We have a workshop for 2 days to look at all these critical issues. The government is also doing its best to see that these issues are addressed and these humanitarian interventions are taken to these affected populations.
The minister also appreciated the efforts of international donors for their support in meeting Nigeria's humanitarian challenges. Nigeria demonstrates always a brother role to other African nations in need, a significant responsibility that forms part of the nation's foreign policy document. In line with this, the Cross River State government is extending help to Cameroonian refugees hosted by the state at Ogoja refugee camp. Paul Abel reports that there are over 27,000 of them.
Internally displaced persons in Nigeria and refugee camps have lots of similarities, especially in population size. A slight difference, however, is refugees are foreigners. As such, sometimes the necessary attention is not given to them in welfare and other facilities. A lot of them pass through harrowing experiences from their host communities, and life is never the same, whether they are IDPs or refugees, because they contend with poor shelter, poor sanitary and environmental issues, no jobs, and loss of families or loved ones due to wars or natural occurrences, and at the mercy of local or international donor agencies, governments, and individuals for survival.
Life for camp no easy at all. We no get water, we no get access where we feel live.
We really appreciate if government get the means for help we or for stop this fight, make it no go ahead.
The Cross River State government is changing the narrative with its frequent visits to the Ogoja Cameroonian refugee camp, a likely flashpoint for disease outbreak, as the camp dwellers are being sensitized on preventive measures against Lassa fever, as well as personal and environmental hygiene.
the international community to see that they can provide not just food but livelihood, and of course provide schools for these children to go to.
It's also an opportunity to check even the adults to ensure that there are no health challenges.
The team also appealed to well-meaning individuals, the federal government and other international bodies to support the camp with food and other facilities. In Ogoja, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Ondo State Health Commissioner briefs press as Nigeria records first coronavirus. Let's join Agatha for details.
Thank you, Lydia. Good evening and a warm welcome to Benin. Edo State government has commenced various activities, including sensitization of staff of the Benin airport to screen air travelers to avoid possible spread of the coronavirus in the state. Commissioner for Health, Dr. Patrick Okundia, was briefing the media in Benin following the confirmed case of coronavirus in the country. Eugenia Ndubisi reports.
Edo State Ministry of Health has set machinery in place to check any possible outbreak. A team has been deployed to the Benin airport for information on the manifesto of the airline that brought the Italian to the country. The ministry has also embarked on sensitization of the public through various news media.
Surveillance officers have been placed on red alert to carry out active case search in all health facilities, as well as all points of entry to the state, which includes the Benin airports and our various motor parks.
Edo State has one of the coronavirus testing laboratories in Nigeria at Irua Specialist Hospital. Dr. Okondia says to reduce the risk of spread of coronavirus, members of the public are advised to wash their hands regularly with soap under running water. Edo State citizens are also advised to remain calm and contact the following numbers for further information. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
Now, with the recent political development in Edo State, the police command has commenced a discourse with members of various political parties to chart a way forward and ensure peace before, during, and after the governorship election slated for September. Udrakobong Achibong reports.
The meeting is the first to be held by the Edo State Police Command amidst the political tempo in the state. The command is aware that the governorship election in the state is around the corner, but there are ugly incidences such as thuggery, violence, and use of explosives, which could impede a hitch-free election if not checked.
So as you talk to your supporters, that violence does not bring any development and does not guarantee political success, we will ensure that anybody that breaks the law is brought to book. The first line of proactive effort is to interface with stakeholders.
At the end of the meeting, some participants spoke to newsmen.
We appreciate the need to work extremely hard for the desired peace, without which we in government cannot be seen to be doing well in terms of development and dividend of democracy.
We are in support of this initiative, and we equally praise that we should have more of these consultations.
For the Edo State Police Command, the interface will be continuous to ensure the upcoming election achieves the needed result. In Benin, Udrakobong Achibong, NTA News.
That's our package. Lydia has more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Agatha. Time for another break to stay.
Lost his mom when he was about 6-7.
Naraguta community conflict. Zenret in Lagos Studios, in Jos Studios, has the details and other stories from that zone. Zenret.
Thank you, Lydia, and thanks for joining us in Jos.
Commissioner of Police Plateau State Command Isaac Akimoyede says stringent measures have been put in place to prevent the escalation of the conflict between University of Jos and the host community of Naragota village over the demarcation of the land belonging to the university. The commissioner was speaking against the backdrop of a violent conflict that rocked the community recently. Kim Gotts reports.
The incidents turned violent when some hoodlums attacked some students, a place of worship, and destroyed several other properties. Commissioner of Police, Plateau State Command Isaac Akimoyede, who confirmed the incident, said security personnel have been deployed and investigation is ongoing to bring the perpetrators to book.
We have deployment of policemen there, assisted by men of Operation Safe Havens. And apart from that, I called the members of the community and appeal to them not to do anything, not to get involved in any act that will lead to further breakdown of law and order there.
Vice Chancellor, University of Jos, Professor Sebastian Memoko, noted that the demarcation is necessary and to further stem encroachment into its property.
I'm not aware of a single building that has been destroyed since we started this exercise. The buildings that will be destroyed will be identified by government, and they will be destroyed only after government has confirmed that all the illegal buildings on the land should give way.
Residents of the community who expressed shock over the incident said they have been living in peace over the years.
Actually, the people in Naragota are not contesting that the land doesn't belong to university. It is really the university's land because they obtained it from the BPE.
The situation is relatively calm as peace is gradually returning in the area. In Jos, Kim Gotts, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Plateau State Police Command has inaugurated the Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC, with a charge to effectively partner with communities for prompt dissemination of security information to the police. Rainwest Sylvanus Lott has more.
Charged with the sole responsibility of bridging the gap between the police and communities, Commissioner of Police Isaac Akimoyede said the present societal challenges and that of lack of manpower has given rise to such bodies to assist the police.
It is pertinent to note that the advocates of community participation in combating crime believe that besides serving as a means of getting things done, involving people in solving their own problems also bring many lasting benefits to the people. In this light, it is a pointer to the urgent need to foster collaboration between the police and the public to reduce the risk of crime in the state.
For God to have been giving us this opportunity and responsibility, He has a message for us. And therefore, we want to take that with every sense of respect and humility that we're going to do whatever we can do to station, to bring back the glory of PCRC on the party.
The chairman solicited for cooperation from the public to enable them succeed in their assignment. In Jos, Rainwest Sylvanus Lott, NTA News.
Strategic partners in the National Homegrown School Feeding Program in Plateau State advocating stronger health measures to fight the resurgence of Lassa fever in the state and country at large. This is the focus of an awareness program on the preventive measures of Lassa fever organized by the Social Investment Program for stakeholders in the value chain. Bilkisu Nuhu has details.
Lassa fever has in recent times become a disturbing health challenge in the state, with 11 of the 26 reported cases confirmed with the disease in February alone. In view of this, stakeholders in the value chain from 17 local government areas of the state are charting ways of bringing to an end the menace of the disease among children by taking proactive measures.
Because we are concerned with the health of all that are involved in this particular activity, we have deemed it fit to call for this meeting to create awareness on Lassa fever preventive measures.
Children are very sensitive kind of human beings that needed to be handled with care.
Keeping a neat and healthy surrounding, proper washing of cooking utensils, as well as promoting all-round hygiene, the stakeholders say are key in eradicating Lassa fever.
Our children themselves, we should make sure that we provide those washing hands basin for them that they will be washing their hands before taking the meals.
I will have to check them, check their food, and even their dressing to check if they are neat or not.
Questions and answers, as well as concrete suggestions, were given to curtail the spread of the disease and promote a healthy society. In Jos, Bilkisu Nuhu, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. There's still more on Nationwide with Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Zinret. The Buhari Media Organization has commended the Nigerian Army for recording another success against the Boko Haram insurgency, which its airstrikes, which have effectively degraded the operational capacity of the insurgents. In a statement, the group said that the Air Task Force ATF of Operation Lafia Dole, under the auspices of Operation Rattlesnake 3, bombarded meeting venues, operational bases, and training grounds of the group, forcing the terrorists to flee to the fringes of the Lake Chad region. While praying for the safety of security personnel on the field, BMO urged the Nigerian force not to relent, but double its efforts to bring this menace of terrorism to an end in the country. We earlier brought you stories on coronavirus. We still have more. Key players have converged on Lagos to strategize on measures to contain and prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Joy Ken Abakpoya is on hand to give us a situation report. Hello, Joy. Fill us in.
Thank you, Studio. A few days ago, Nigeria was among the many nations of the world with the no coronavirus status. Well, a message by the Minister of Health in the early hours of Friday has changed that narrative. A case of coronavirus has been confirmed, and I am at the facility, the Lagos Mainland Hospital, where the index case, an Italian male, is being held and managed. Dr. Bowale Abimbola is the medical director of that facility. He will give us an update.
Patient is doing very well. His spirit is high. He's not in any distress, and as of this morning, he's doing very well. Let me say he's doing very well. He's quite healthy. He's doing very, very well. He also has a very high spirit.
All right. Are we expecting to see what happened during the Ebola time, where we were able to curtail the virus before any damage was done?
Well, I think we learned a lot from the last Ebola case, and that is why this patient was identified early enough, because he went to a clinic, he gave his history, and the doctor immediately suspected that this could be coronavirus. I mean, if we are not expecting it, or if we are not well prepared, we wouldn't know, we will have missed it. So somebody identified this case and then brought the case to us, and then we also did what we were supposed to do. We sent samples to the lab, and then the result came back as positive.
And the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, assured citizens in a media briefing that everything that is required to contain the spread has been put in place.
We're up till early hours of this morning contacting both the federal authority, including Mr. President, and everybody that needs to be aware, including the facility that this patient had contact with, the chairman of the company and everybody in the company. They've been very supportive. They had proactively also curtailed their own staff, and we're ready. Our facility has been fortified to continue, if need be, of any form of tests, and containment information will continue to speak to each other on a case-by-case basis, and want to assure our citizens that for us here in Lagos, everything that needs to be done, we're doing, and we'll continue to have dialogue, and support, if required, from the Federal Ministry of Health.
The patient remains in strict isolation at our containment facility in Yaba, and he's doing well under supportive therapy. As of now, we've started to trace the movement of this traveler from the airport through Lagos to Ogun State. And we're busy identifying any possible person that may have come in contact with him so that we can start our isolation and containment exercise to ensure that we break the cycle of transmission.
However, some Lagosians are beginning to panic. I will now hand over to my colleague Amakawo, who is in one of the very popular markets in Lagos, to tell us how the people are taking the news of coronavirus in Lagos.
Thank you, Joy. This is one of the busy areas on Lagos mainland where people are seen going about their lawful businesses. Of course, it is obvious that you can hardly see any person or people putting on the facial mask in this part of the town. Quite a number of people have ample knowledge of the virus, while it will surprise you that some people know nothing about coronavirus.
Is it not something like this Lassa fever or something like that? About rat and all those things?
Coronavirus.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. You have to tell me what to do to protect myself.
You should stay away from somebody that is coughing. Don't get closer to them. Then when you get home, make sure you take your bath.
The Nigerians should be careful, you know, when you enter a bus, places you touch, you know, and people you come in contact, you should be more careful.
It's back to you, studio.
Thank you very much. We now take sports with Amanzi Marcus.
Over 120 players are Squash Spectacular 2020 with the